Cats likely domesticated themselves over 10,000 years ago through a symbiotic relationship with humans. Cats were attracted to human settlements for food, such as rats and mice in farms and storerooms. Humans eventually began to feed cats directly and value them for their ability to catch pests. The domestic cat, Felis catus, is one of the most recently evolved species within the Felidae family. The Felidae family has been divided into three genera: Panthera, roaring cats, lions, tigers, leopards, snow leopards, clouded leopards, and jaguars. Acinonyx, the cheetah. Felis, all other small cats. However, classifying the Felidae family is challenging, partly due to the difficulty in distinguishing species by their phenotype and morphology. They all appear remarkably similar. For instance, it is extremely hard for even trained experts to differentiate between a lion's skull and that of a tiger. More recent genetic studies have suggested 8 distinct clusters or lineages within the Felidae family, which could potentially serve as the basis for their future reclassification. Common characteristics. All cats have evolved as predatory hunting mammals with particularly keen senses of hearing, sight, and smell. Anatomical features such as the rounded head and skeletal structure suggest that all 37 recognized species within the Felidae family evolved from a common ancestor, likely living in Asia around 10 to 12 million years ago. There has been a rapid expansion and diversity of the Felidae family over the past 10 to 11 million years, and by 3 million years ago, there was a wide variety of cats inhabiting all regions of the Earth except the Arctic, Antarctic, and Australia. The fluctuation of sea levels over many millennia helped both to create conditions where Felidae species could migrate and occupy new geographical locations, when sea levels were low, and isolate the development of species, when sea levels were high. The widespread migration of ancestral cats was probably facilitated by their natural behavior to disperse and seek their own territory, as well as the need to follow the prey species they hunted. Felidae are the most highly developed carnivorous hunters among all mammalian species. With the exception of lions, which live in groups, all other wild cats have evolved as solitary animals with the ability to hunt and fend for themselves. Cats are territorial, establishing their own areas for hunting and marking their territory primarily via scent. They come together mainly for mating. Again, with the exception of lions, where males have a distinctive mane, the appearance of male and female cats is very similar, although males tend to be slightly larger. They have 5 digits on their front feet and 4 on their hind feet. The digits are protected by pads, which also help reduce sound when they are hunting. Apart from the cheetah, all cats have retractable claws. Cats have developed a wide range of coat colors. Under natural conditions, these are adaptations that allow the cat to be camouflaged and assist its hunting lifestyle. Evolution and adaptation of Felis catus. Evidence from fossil records of early human settlements suggests that cats and humans coexisted, although these were likely wild cats. The development of true domestication, or more accurately, the taming of cats, was previously believed to have occurred in Egypt around 3,600 years ago. Skulls of cats found in Egyptian cat burial grounds, called mao by the Egyptians, have been identified primarily as Felis sylvestris lybica, the African wildcat. Some texts classify the African wildcat as Felis lybica, and it is this wildcat from Asia and North Africa that is now thought to be the primary ancestor of the modern-day Felis catus. However, more recent evidence indicates that feline domestication likely occurred about 10,000 years ago or more in the Middle East, within the region of the Fertile Crescent. The earliest true record of domestication comes from a cat found deliberately buried with its owner in a grave in Cyprus, approximately 9,500 years ago, suggesting that domestication began some time earlier since there were no native cats on Cyprus. Living near people. The earliest evidence of human grain stores dates back to Israel about 10,000 years ago. The development of these grain stores led to an increase in the house mouse population. This surge in rodents is believed to have initially attracted wild cats to human settlements, eventually leading to their taming. Cats that were more tolerant of humans were likely to approach these settlements, facilitating their self-selection and aiding in their taming and domestication. Archaeological evidence indicates that cats were commonly associated with human settlements in the Fertile Crescent, Israel and the surrounding areas, by 3,700 years ago. They became an official deity in Egypt in the form of the goddess Batet around 2,900 years ago. At that time, large numbers of cats were sacrificed to Batet and mummified, indicating that Egyptians were actively breeding cats. By 2,000 years ago, there was increasing evidence of cats spreading throughout Europe. Modern cats. Genetic analysis has shown that the DNA of today's domestic cats worldwide is nearly identical to that of Felis sylvestris lybica, confirming that this species is the primary ancestor of our domestic cats. The DNA from other small cats, such as the European wildcat, Felis sylvestris, and the Central Asian and Southern African wildcats, forms distinct and unrelated clusters. Felis sylvestris lybica still exists today as a solitary nocturnal hunter with an appearance similar to domestic tabby cats, though with a somewhat lighter, more sandy-colored coat. Individuals of this species are well dispersed across the savanna with large territories due to the relatively sparse availability of rodent prey. The criteria for defining a distinct species of animal are not entirely rigid. Generally, different species cannot interbreed and do not do so under natural conditions. Under artificial conditions, it is possible to interbreed some species of cats, lions and tigers, though the offspring are usually infertile. However, because of its close relation to the wildcat, Felis sylvestris, the domestic cat, Felis catus, still retains the ability to interbreed with this species, and this does occur under natural conditions with the resulting offspring being fertile. In some regions, this has caused significant problems with feral and stray cats interbreeding with the native wildcat, leading to a diminishing population of genetically distinct purebred wildcats in Scotland and Hungary. The domestic cat was first classified as Felis catus in 1758 by Carolus Linnaeus. Although this nomenclature is still the most commonly used, recent studies suggest that the domestic cat should be regarded as a subspecies of the wildcat, Felis sylvestris catus, and this term is used by some. Domestication of the cat. Felis catus as a species has emerged through wildcats living closely with humans. However, this should not be considered domestication in the same sense as that of dogs and other animals. In general, cats have not undergone significant changes during domestication, and their form and behavior remain very similar to those of their wildcat ancestors. They are still perfectly capable of surviving in the wild, and many revert to a feral or wild existence. The two main theories regarding the domestication of cats are that the original wildcats, Felis sylvestris lybica, were either deliberately tamed and selected for friendliness, or that they were more tolerated by humans and gradually diverged from their wild relatives through natural selection and adaptation to hunting vermin around human settlements. The latter theory is likely more accurate, at least in the early stages of taming, as other animals such as ferrets and dogs would have been more effective and efficient for human control of vermin. In either scenario, several traits of cats, including their small size, social nature, body language, love of play, high intelligence, and perhaps an innate tendency towards tameness among all small felids, may have facilitated their domestication. For most other domestic animals, a much clearer and direct benefit to humans is evident, and in general, unlike cats, domestic animals are derived from herd or pack animals. This is not true for cats. Strictly speaking, most cats are not truly domesticated. This is defined as breeding, care, and reproduction being totally controlled by humans, producing a reproductively isolated population. This can only really be applied to pedigree pet cats, which form a very small proportion of the total pet cat population. Undoubtedly, one of the major attractions of cat ownership today is that while being tame, cats remain little altered from their wild relatives, exhibiting many characteristics and traits similar to wild cats. Today's domestic cats retain several characteristics from their desert-dwelling ancestors, including the ability to survive with very low water intake by producing highly concentrated urine, more so than dogs, and relatively dry feces, thus minimizing water loss. They also tolerate extreme heat, not showing signs of discomfort until their skin temperature exceeds 52 degrees Celsius, whereas humans start to feel uncomfortable when their skin temperature exceeds 44.5 degrees Celsius. Additionally, there is a lack of change in body temperature in the domestic cat over a 24-hour period, as they tend to be active both during the day and at night.